Welcome back to the United Pubcast, the official Man United supporters club here in Sydney for your match preview, Manchester United against Leicester. It is an early Friday morning kickoff for us here in Sydney, obviously a Thursday night in the UK. So this is about a match preview, and there is a lot to discuss because here we are, we're on a bit of a roll. I think we can move into the top half of the table probably. Maybe we're already there, I'm not sure. I haven't looked at the table, but we are closing that gap and playing better football. So I am looking forward to all the football discussion and how we can move forward and how Eric Ten Hag's Reds will line up. But my God, Larry, it is a busy couple of days. Not only a busy couple of days ahead, it's a busy couple of hours ahead because a lot is breaking around Manchester United at the moment and some emotive subjects. So we will get into a match preview and discuss all things, but there are sort of larger issues at hand, which I'm sure will pick everyone's brain in the live chat. But first things, Larry, middle of the week, how is things?
Yeah, mate. Cheers to you and cheers to everyone in the comments. Week's good. It's hump day and we're approaching the end of the transfer window. This time tomorrow, the transfer window will shut. How many hours do we have left? I want to say there's 14 or 15 hours until the transfer window is closed, Tom. So it's going to be a dramatic end for United. I think there'll be...
It's after the Leicester match. It will be because it finishes on Friday. I believe maybe someone in the live chat can correct me, but after the Leicester match...
No, tomorrow. It'll not long after the match. It'll close.
Yeah, we're not playing tomorrow. We're playing Friday.
Are you sure about that?
I am positive. Do let me know. The game is Friday. Yeah, I believe it's Wednesday here. I don't know where Larry is. Larry might still be in Europe.
Yep, we just covered that. My apologies.
No worries. But I will say, Rob confirming that in the live chat. Good to see you, mate, as always. Viking, good to see you, mate. Make sure you all go over and subscribe to Viking Football Capital here. Has a video dropping in a few hours' time, I think, in regards to our night at the pub. So make sure you go and subscribe to the Football Capital. I'm sure that'll be a very good video of all the Man United fans in Sydney watching the match at Scruffy's. Adam, good to see you. George, as always. Jamie over from Northern Ireland, good to see you, mate. Morning, guys. Good to catch you live from the start for a change. Always good to have you here, mate. And George here, I hope you had a good week in the Gold Coast. Good evening, guys. Leicester down on confidence, down on players, and soon to be down on a manager. Let's put Rodgers out of a job. Now, Larry, before we'll start on Leicester City, because everyone thought it was a bit of a bold claim at the start of the season. I was saying everyone's talking about all these promoted clubs, be a bit of a yo-yo clubs. The three that came up, the three will go down. I said, watch Leicester City. I thought Leicester were almost a shoo-in to go down. I thought they would really struggle. Now, who knows how their season will pan out. They might turn things around with a new manager if Rodgers is to leave, and they might sort of be fine. But I think there is this feeling around Leicester because they won the league that they're this big club, and not this big club, but this sort of a really established club and sort of a team that should be challenging for Europe. Take away that one freakish season. They are where they should be. They should be bouncing around between the Championship and the Premier League, in my opinion. Now, I know they do have some names that has come off the back of winning that Premier League, but I think Leicester is just where they are in their cycle. They had a good run, and now they're on their way to the Championship, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's fair, and perhaps the Premiership that they secured, I want to say 6 years ago now, did change the perception around Leicester. How do you go from champions to relegation, I suppose? But nonetheless, you have to say that they've been on a steady decline for a little while. And what you're saying is exactly right. They're not what you'd call a profitable club. They're a club that development players identify targets. Good scouting network has to be said. And they sell their players at a profit. They did it with Maguire. They've done it with Fofana. They've tried to do it with Tillman. And they will continue to do that. But they're struggling. They're in really poor form. And they've been, like United, they've almost been in free fall since probably December of last year, Tom. I think, that they look poorly placed for this season. They haven't really brought anything in either.
Is Brendan Rodgers, that there's a lot of, and obviously the managers are the ones that lose their job before the players. Now, there's obviously always been a lot of speculation around Brendan Rodgers because he had a big job in Liverpool and was a high-profile position at the time, as it would be, but he's obviously favourite, or Scott Parker got the sack, but maybe next in line is potentially Brendan Rodgers. So his hand's a little bit tired. Look, I was discussing Brendan Rodgers as a potential Manchester United manager when he was doing quite well at Leicester City. I think he was sort of in that discussion amongst the media, and I thought it was worth a discussion. His hands are tied, though. You just talk about those players that are leaving. They're not bringing players in. Tillemans, Fofana just is off to Chelsea, and I'm just thinking, okay, he might deserve the sack. Potentially he's not doing good enough behind the scenes, but ultimately the club's not doing him any favours.
I 100% agree. Whatever your thoughts on Brendan Rodgers as a manager, my personal thoughts are he's actually a fairly good manager. I think a lot of your United fans put a blind eye to that because of obviously the affiliation with Liverpool, but I think he's a good manager, and I'm with you. At the end of the day, like we've said about Ten Hag, like our frustration was when we were 2 games into the season, you can be the best manager in the world. If you don't have good players, you can only do as much as you can do, right? So I do feel a bit bad for him, but like you say, Leicester are in this cycle. And look, if Brendan Rodgers were to get sacked, I really think he'll have no problem finding another Premier League club. I'd be certain of that.
Well, speaking of other Premier League clubs, that Adam just brings up here, which we did just see before we did go live, breaking full agreement between Everton and Manchester United for James Garner, fee between 15 and 20 million, which look, we'll discuss that later because I think that is worth a discussion in its own right. And I'm sort of quite, not emotional about it, but quite pissed off about it. I think that's absolutely shocking business from Manchester United when you look at what is happening around the league. I'll save that discussion for at the end. But anything else on Leicester in regards to this upcoming game, or do you want to move on to Manchester United side of things?
I think the focus should be on United. Leicester, Jamie Vardy signed a new deal, and he was linked with United for a little bit there, wasn't he? Thankfully, that didn't come to fruition. Good Premier League striker, though. I think he'll definitely find himself in the Hall of Fame. But you know what? I look at that Leicester side. Where are the threats for Leicester? And I don't mean to sound arrogant. I mean, who are we to be arrogant? We conceded 4 against Brentford only a fortnight ago. But I don't see much from Leicester. I think the focus should be on United. If United turn up and perform to their capability, they get the 3 points. I think it is that straightforward.
No, definitely. I think I was just checking before we went on live, just was checking the live chat. I think we're only 2 or 3 subscribers away from 1,300 subscribers. So if you are new and in the live chat, please do click that subscribe button. That would be great. And please do leave a like on the video if you think CASEMIRO will get his first start, because I think we'll get in the start 11s in a sec, Larry. And look, I haven't seen yours, and I don't think you've seen mine. I studied it in great detail, so it'll be interesting. I have a feeling they could be different in terms of the discussion we'll have a little bit earlier. But Helgon Wills, good to see you, mate. Hope you're all well. And George here saying Leicester beat us twice last year. We can't look too far ahead. Well, we are Manchester United at the end of the day. If anyone can sort of throw a spanner in the works, we can definitely do that. But Larry, I'll throw your starting 11 up here. And as I said, I'll have a sort of my first quick look at it. If you can talk me through it. You're pretty much, well, you're bringing Ericsson in for Scott McTominay. And other than that, it's pretty much unchanged. You're assuming Martial's fit. Obviously, now this is an hour before, about 45 minutes for Erik ten Hag's press conference. So Erik ten Hag will come out and obviously give us the fitness details around those players. So don't shoot us if we get any fitness issues wrong. But you're going with Anthony Martial up front and an unchanged back 4.
Yeah.
Talk to me with in mind, and now this might come into my starting 11 as well. We play Arsenal in a couple of days after this as well. We play Arsenal on Monday. So Monday morning our time, Sunday in the UK. So what does Erik ten Hag sort of look to? We don't know how Erik ten Hag rotates his squad. Maybe an Ajax fan could let us know a little bit more. But it's not just one game a week now. We do need to start looking at sort of future fixtures.
Yeah, I think while ever the squad is new, which they are, and they're still trying to learn the way that the manager wants to play, I think you just need to go with your strongest 11 as often as you can. And once particularly the Europa League fixtures do come into play, which they will in about 10 days' time, I think that will be the time to start with a bit of rotation. But the Premier League has to be the bread and butter, and that to me is where Ten Hag should be putting his strongest lineup out there. So that's what I've looked to do. Assuming Martial is fit, I think he comes straight into that number 9 spot. If he's not fit, it will probably again be Alenga and Rashford. I just, rightly or wrongly, I think once the transfer window closes, I think Ronaldo being in the side will be more clear cut. I think with Ten Hag though, while ever there's a bit of doubt that he might leave, I don't think you'll see Ronaldo in this lineup. And
on Ronaldo, that's my next point, because he's not in my starting 11. Now, I would start Ronaldo given the situation, and also maybe even looking forward to Arsenal. If Arsenal's a game Erik ten Hag wants a different type of striker, we'll play Ronaldo in this game and rest your Rashford, rest your Martial, whoever you're looking to play up front. So my spoiler in my 11, and I have a few to be honest, one of them is definitely that Ronaldo is not going to be involved. However, I have a feeling I'm leaning towards it, and there's a poll in the live chat if you haven't taken a vote, that do you think Ronaldo is a Manchester United player this time next week? Because obviously there's huge speculation around his future. So do have a vote in that poll and let us know your feelings towards or on the Ronaldo situation. But I'm leaning towards him staying now. Now, I think that is where the maybe betting money is at the moment. Now, that could change in 20 minutes. Who knows? At the moment, I'm thinking Ronaldo stays. In saying that, Larry, I have a feeling he'll be left out of this squad completely, even if he's nailed on to stay. I just think the drama around deadline day, as I said, the deadline window closes a few hours after we finish against Leicester City. He could be anywhere around Europe trying to force through a move last minute. He might need to be near an airport if he needs to jet off to Napoli or somewhere else. So I have a feeling with the drama unfolding around him, it'll be a busy day for him and his agent and his team. Rightly or wrongly, that will be the facts. It'll be a very busy, very stressful day. I have a feeling even if he is to stay at Man United, Eric Ten Hag could leave him out completely. Maybe even at the request of a Ronaldo, potentially.
I think he'll put him on the bench purely because of the lack of options. If Martial's not fit. With that being said, I think it's a really difficult one, mate. Like I said, it's a lack of options. So he'll be on the bench if we really need to. In any case, and even like I said, until the window closes, I don't think he starts. But even if he stays, I think Martial's his first choice, number 9.
Yeah, no, definitely interesting. Now, I'll throw my 11 up here. Now, again, whenever I put my starting 11 up here, I seem to disagree with myself. So do let me know your thoughts in the live chat. And Larry, tell me where I'm wrong in this. And I know there are sort of definite wrong features in this, but I am just going, and this is without the information of an Eric Ten Hag press conference and also the evidence of how he rotates his side, how he prioritises games 3 or 4 days in advance. So I'll have a better idea of this in February or March, what he does with the squad. But I've gone, I think too much rotation in my opinion, but is what I was thinking a couple of hours ago when I did put this together. And there are a few shocks. I think Rafael Varane will be rested. I think we did. I don't want to. This is my predicted. This is not preferred. This is definitely a predicted lineup. I think Rafael Varane, he's obviously had his own sort of fitness program going into pre-season. I think that'll still be, just because the season started, that won't finish. I think he'll still be monitored quite closely. At the end of the day, Harry Maguire is the club captain. He'll still need to be involved. If Rafael Varane gets injured, you can't throw Harry Maguire in for his first game in 10 weeks. He's going to need minutes, unfortunately. So I think Harry Maguire comes in for Rafael Varane. CASEMIRO, I think, gets his start. Then I'm thinking in regards to rotation, Fred and McTominay are the same player. Larry, I know you're shaking your head, but I'm the manager here, and I think there needs to be rotation. And who better to sort of supplement CASEMIRO just in regards to an introduction? Put someone who speaks the same language with him next to him. What is Scott McTominay and CASEMIRO going to talk about? Could they say hello to each other?
Probably.
Oh, I doubt it. So I think if Fred's someone who can speak to CASEMIRO, sort of give a sort of slight introduction in English football, and that front three is along the lines of me. Whether I think Ronaldo
maybe
is,
McTominay can be like, "Have you tried English breakfast before?" And he'll say, "Care," and then it'll just go from there. Mate, no, this midfield, it doesn't do it for me, mate. I'd go McTominay, Casemiro if you have to.
Definitely. Look, you don't have to convince me to play McTominay over Fred. Again, this is a predicted lineup, not my preferred one, and I just think it will because I think Scott McTominay starts against Arsenal for his physicality, and
I think Ten Hag doesn't like Fred at all. I reckon it's his least favorite footballer. By the way, we'll get into the games.
I would agree. I would slightly agree there, Larry. Rewind to both of us 6 weeks ago. Who were we saying that Eric Ten Hag would like out of Scott McTominay and Fred?
I don't remember. I thought he'd
Fred. The whole fan base was saying Fred is one player who could stand out, and we'll say, yeah, probably. And there seems to be the opposite way after those first 2 appearances. It is a funny old game. That front three, look, I would go Cristiano Ronaldo. I just think the drama around him at the moment, I think it will be that Rashford, Alanga, and Sancho. Now, if Eric Ten Hag comes out in half an hour's time and says Martial is fit, of course, throw Martial up front and push Rashford out to the wide areas. But my only other question to you, which we both went Malacia, obviously we're both wanting to play Malacia, in regards to potential rotation, is there a chance for Luke Shaw? Again, not your preferred, but is there a chance Luke Shaw comes in?
I think so, yeah. Arsenal have such a mobile forward line, and I know this isn't an Arsenal preview, but yeah, you could definitely make a case that Malacia probably needs to be in that game. Shaw, I don't know what's happened to him, mate. He used to be quick. I swear he did, but he's lost his pace. He's getting turned far too easily. So maybe this is the game for Luke Shaw, and maybe you go Malacia against Arsenal. Because I think if you go Shaw against Arsenal, I think particularly the way Jesus is playing, you could have him on toast. So it might not be a bad shout.
There's a few comments I want to get to, but just before we move on from, okay, we've done our starting 11s. Here we are. We're not great with sort of score predictions, but I know we do have a bit of a rough spot against Leicester at times. Surely the position we're in, and we are, however we're going as a club, on the football pitch over the last 2 weeks, we're slightly progressing. surely we're a little bit confident. I'll go again, say maybe a 2-1 United.
You think we'll concede? I'm confident of a clean sheet.
I'm
gonna say
bringing
2-0
Harry
United.
Maguire back in. There's a chance.
I'm saying 2-0 United. If
I'd love
Maguire
that.
plays 2-1.
2-1. But there were one or two things before we move on. I've got one or two points here, but in regards to some comments here, Adam saying apparently Erik Ten Hag will be announcing that Ronaldo is staying in the press conference today. It will be interesting. There is one or two murmurings about that. I just think from a negotiation point of view, I think that puts the club, both sides of the fence, I think that both puts the club and Ronaldo in a tricky situation. So I would be surprised. I would like to see that.
But if they've conceded that that's the case, I mean, if he's
potentially,
got no on the table, what's he going to do, right? There's nothing.
Things happen quick. There could be an offer 2 hours after the press conference, and that changes things. And then suddenly, Erik Ten Hag has egg on his face when Ronaldo accepts a deal somewhere else. So, look, I would like to see that. I'd like to see that honesty and get out in front of this. I just have a feeling from a negotiating standpoint, I would be surprised. No, that's not to say it won't happen. I'll just be very surprised. A point here, before I get into the Jimmy Garner stuff, Helgon Wheels here saying Erik Ten Hag's least favourite is Wan-Bissaka. He's hardly played, even in pre-season.
Yes.
Okay, a bit of positivity in regards to the football, and here we are. We're going to go and beat Leicester City. If you do agree with that, please do leave a like on the video. This Wan-Bissaka, I'm going to get into James Garner, which annoys me, but potentially this Wan-Bissaka story is even more annoying. Now, how high this Barcelona player Dest, this right back from Barcelona, is on Erik Ten Hag's list, I'm not sure. Now, he plays for Barcelona, so I assume he's a better footballer than Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I haven't seen too much of him, seen a little bit of YouTube. He plays for Barcelona, he can pass the ball. Okay, so you'd assume he's more suitable to an Erik Ten Hag system than Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Manchester United have an offer on the table that appears from West Ham for about 15 million for Aaron Wan-Bissaka. You would assume as well Crystal Palace will be in that running as well for Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Erik Ten Hag doesn't want Aaron Wan-Bissaka. That's clear. Erik Ten Hag doesn't want him, doesn't see a future for him at Manchester United. There is an offer on the table for Wan-Bissaka. Now, Erik Ten Hag's not going to get this Dest guy in because the club don't feel that offer is suitable. And I'll get into the James Garner where they find 15 million suitable for Garner, but they don't find it suitable for Aaron Wan-Bissaka. And they're not going to allow Aaron Wan-Bissaka go because of the business side of things, losing a £50 million player for 15 million. And that's going to prevent Erik Ten Hag bringing his man in. So we can go, okay, he's got his man in Anthony, he's got his man in Casemiro and Martinez and all that. But ultimately, if he's having to keep someone that he doesn't want, it's null and void. Like he's now going to have to use Aaron Wan-Bissaka. He's going to have to take up a spot in the squad over this potential Dest. And this is where I think this is, yes, there's good business elsewhere. Okay, we spend too much on it. Okay, the player coming in is a good thing. But a huge part of this transfer window for me was being able to offload the players the manager doesn't want. Ultimately, that has killed managers over the past in terms of they've had to sort of take up squad sort of spaces by players that are sort of deadwood. How long have we used the term deadwood in regards to this squad? And if the club have said no, 15 million is not acceptable for Aaron Wan-Bissaka, we'll keep him, but it's selling James Garner for 15 million. The positivity goes flying out the window. I don't care about the results anymore. In regards to it, just highlights again all the issues with this club.
Well, it's a difficult one because I'm playing devil's advocate here. You're saying that, yes, we've been able to get in the players that Erik Ten Hag wants, but then the club are making poor decisions by not getting the ones he wants out. But we're then assuming he wants to keep James Garner. How do we know that? Maybe he doesn't want James Garner. Maybe Erik Ten Hag's decided he doesn't rate him for whatever reason. It's possible.
Possibly.
I know
of course possible.
We love Erik Ten Hag, but maybe Erik doesn't rate him. Maybe he doesn't rate Garner.
He seems it doesn't rate Donny van der Beek either. Now, there are a few comments here in regards to Dest as well. Now, log on our next Football Porche saying Dest is horrible, and Adam saying defensively, if people think Delo is poor defensively, wait until they see Dest. And look, that is the thing. Look, I don't have an opinion on Dest as a player, but and again, these are big ifs. So Larry just said if Ten Hag doesn't want James Garner, if Erik Ten Hag wants Dest. Now, again, this name's popped up late in the window. You think, how high is he on a list? Potentially not high. But if the scenario is Aaron Wan-Bissaka is not wanted by Erik Ten Hag and he wants a different right back, whatever our opinion on the player is, you have to back the manager. And at the moment, it seems like we're not backing the manager in that regard. Let's look at players that he doesn't want, that he's going to have to keep around in the squad and take up a spot which could be utilised by a new signing. Phil Jones, he's staying. Wan-Bissaka is staying. There's potentially probably big players, maybe a Harry Maguire or players like that. They're still staying. I'm just thinking that is where, yes, welcome Anthony, welcome Casemiro, welcome Martinez. A huge part of this window for me, like I stand by it, was getting rid of some of the players. And they're still here. The players who have let us down are still here.
Okay. playing devil's advocate here, who would be out the door for you that we haven't gotten rid of? Harry Maguire's indifferent. If you speak to half the fan base, some would have said give him another opportunity this season. Someone like me would have said sell him. It's clear he's shown his capabilities. Ship him out the door. Some people would also make that same argument for Luke Shaw. But then you can't also bring in 10 to 12 players in one window. We have never seen a club do that. So
yeah. Oh, yeah, no, there has to be a gradual thing. And yes, there has to be a gradual progression. And yes, you can't do things overnight. Now, Ralph Rangnick said this team needed 10 new players. Now, yes, there is a balance. Do that at once or do that over time.
Just answer that question for me. Who is at the club right now that should not be at the club?
I think Aaron Wan-Bissaka, maybe time is up. I think Luke Shaw. Harry Maguire, there's a case. Oh, I can understand, okay, you already got rid of Eric Bailly. Okay, I can understand keeping Harry Maguire around in regards to a transitional phase. Fred and McTominay I would have kept, but you could make a case if an offer came in for one of them. You could potentially see that if there is going to be investment with a De Jong and a Casemiro into midfield. I look at the Rashford situation. I know he's played well in the last game and a half. If there was an offer on the table in terms of his off-field stuff.
Too much.
And you've been agreeing with me for the last 6 months.
Yeah, no, but I sat here with you when we did, last chance saloon. I agreed with you. Rashford was last chance saloon because I know on his day he's good. You and I sat here a couple of days ago saying Sancho's the better footballer than Rashford, but if they're both fit and on form, we're picking Rashford in this side. Yeah. Rashford is probably United's most sellable asset right now. If you look at our starting 11. Rashford is our most sellable asset.
That is where I think, okay, the player I could keep and as agree, sort of give him that one more chance. But if an offer is on the table and if he's flirting around in Europe, which he has been even since the season started, his agent has been talking to PSG. If that interest is real, how real it is, I'm not quite sure. But if it was real and Manchester United could get 80 to 100, not that he's worth that, but if they could get mega money for Marcus Rashford and Eric Ten Hag could reinvest that in the squad, and I'm not saying that should happen now, but if Eric Ten Hag wanted that and sort of reinvest that money, what would an extra 80 million do for his transfer budget? It could pay for De Jong's wages, that's for sure. I'm just thinking it would be beneficial. That's not me saying sell Rashford. I'm just thinking, I think if you were to give this transfer window a rating out of 10, Larry, what would you give it? Because I think if you look at the money spent, if you look at the incomings, I think a lot of people go, it's an 8 or 9 out of 10. If I look at how the business has been done, okay, bringing the players in is only half of it for me. I think it's a 6, a generous 6.
No, I think that's harsh. If I look purely at, I'm going to remove all the politics around it. I could make the argument should have got.
But the politics ultimately will prove costly.
Tom, I hear you, but you have to purely look at. If you look at the players in terms of the squad, we've strengthened the squad. The starting 11 is stronger this season than it was last season. There's no debate for me. Martinez is an upgrade on Maguire. If Iran stays fit, and fingers crossed he will, it's a strong partnership already. Malacia, the jury is out, but he already looks better than Luke Shaw. You go in a midfield. Casemiro is better than anything we've had since Michael Carrick. You then got Eriksen, who's an upgrade on Fred or McTominay. Further up the pitch, Anthony, jury is out, but you have to say, just purely for the quality he has, better than Alenga. He'll be better than Alenga. We know that. So all in all, Martial has returned to the side, and from what we've seen, he looks better. The squad is stronger. And sorry, we also forgot the goalkeeper, Dubravka. So he comes in.
I agree with all this, Larry, and yes, you're right, it does make us stronger. However, we've said this every single window, we're stronger. Whatever transfer window we have, since Louis van Gaal, Jose Mourinho, Solskjaer, we say, we're stronger now than we are, then our season's worse.
Yeah, but that was probably based on we had a good season and then we didn't bring the players in. I think last season was an anomaly where we believed we strengthened the squad, but maybe for whatever reason, a lot of these players, it went wrong. Like, who could have predicted Maguire? First name, again, 14 months ago, we were rooting for him to be in the Europa League final. If he was there, we were sworn Europa League champions. Now, he can't get into the United side. So you can't predict the fall from grace that he's had. I also think the way United play has changed. We were predominantly a counter-attacking side under Solskjaer. Solskjaer tried to be a front foot manager. It hasn't worked. He brought in Ronaldo. Bruno Fernandes is a shell of himself. Marcus Rashford had his worst season as a top professional footballer. Mason Greenwood isn't available. Anthony Martial went on loan. There were all these things that you just couldn't account for last season that went wrong. So I just think, all in all, I would probably give the window a 7. I think we could have done with a striker. I think we could have done with another right back and, like you say, get Wan-Bissaka out. but I think a 7 because overall, like I said, I think we've strengthened the starting 11, and as a result, strengthened the depth of the squad.
The starting 11, I would agree with. In terms of what we see on the football pitch, our starting 11 has improved, and as obviously the manager as well, it does look like, however this business has been done, ultimately his
James Garner
targets.
would have been a good midfield option, I'll tell you that much.
Well, James Garner is my next topic, but just one comment here from Tom. Let's not fool ourselves. Our transfer isn't great. By strengthening the squad, we didn't improve in terms of quality that much, but strengthened in numbers. Just in regards to James Garner, it does look like Everton have agreed a fee of around 15 to 20 million pound. I'm not sure what the exact figure is, but he looks like he's going to work with Frank Lampard. For how long? If Frank Lampard stays in a job, that'll be interesting. Well, I did a video a couple of weeks ago when this news broke that Man United sort of put him on the transfer list, and the valuation was around £15 million. I found now I maybe sort of went overboard and I said he was potentially around 50 million, but I stand by that, Larry, in regards to he was the best player, not the best player, but arguably one of the best players in the Championship last season. This kid, I don't even know his name, just went from Wolves to Nottingham Forest for how long? How much? Close to £50 million potentially. Maybe someone in the live chat, there's a Gibbs White, went from Wolves to Nottingham Forest for mega money. Tell me James Garner's not worth that. Now, maybe he's not. Maybe someone thinks Gibbs White is the next Ballon d'Or winner. I don't know. But in regards to Manchester United allowing this to happen, in terms of the value of Aaron Wan-Bissaka and James Garner the same price, and I can't get my head around that. It's annoyed me beyond belief. It's annoyed me more than it should. Like this has rolled me up more than the emotion, the positive emotion of bringing Anthony in. This one has trumped it in regards to my negative feeling around this deal.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I think we feel that way for many reasons. He hasn't been given a fair opportunity, and I think when a player goes on loan and he takes that opportunity with both hands, like he has done for 2 consecutive seasons, it does seem awfully harsh to not give him an opportunity. Even in pre-season, we barely saw him. It was a really strange.
It did look like he was potentially carrying a little bit of a knock during pre-season. Never quite it looked like Rafael Varane never quite going.
Yeah, potentially, Tom. But I guess, the frustration stems from, and this is just how I see it, Ten Hag doesn't know this guy, right? So we've watched him in the Championship. We've seen him play for the under-21s, the under-18s. And I think naturally we have a more sentimental attachment to the player. If you're Ten Hag, who's never seen James Garner kick a ball, he's probably, and the Glazers in terms of balancing the books, because unfortunately it does come back to that. He probably was told, look, you need to get some money off the books. We're bringing in CASEMIRO.
But how does this balance the books? Like, why can't Manchester
United back in the kitty?
No, but why can't Manchester United put 30 million on him? A club is going to pay. If someone's paying 50 million for this Gibbs White kid, someone's going to pay 30 for Garner. Sure, simply they will. But we're allowing Everton to come in and say taking 50. It's not like he's on 300 grand a week, so we have to lessen the transfer fee to allow that club to get the deal done. He's on probably, I don't know, 30 grand a week or something. Like this deal could be mega money for United.
Who was the player that Spurs signed from the Championship? The wing back.
Jed Spence.
Jed Spence. How much did he go for?
I'm not sure. I'm sure someone in the live chat would know that. But there are deals like that. Like I'm saying, this is not a young player coming through and sort of we have high hopes for because he's done it at youth level.
Sorry to cut you off, Tom. So Tottenham signed Jed Spence for 12.5 million from Middlesbrough, and he was considered the informed winger of the Championship. So, I mean, it's probably on par. I suppose the thing that hurts Garner's transfer value is he's never really proven himself in the Premier League. I mean, I don't even know if he has a Premier League appearance. So that's probably why it's 15 million. I mean, let's play devil's advocate here. A number of years ago, Liverpool sold Jordan Ibe.
That was money laundering. There's no way that deal was above. No way.
Nonetheless, he did play in the Premier League and he went for 15 million to, was it Bournemouth at the time? Was it Bournemouth? It was Bournemouth.
Yeah.
So, I guess if you're looking at the market that way, I suppose it makes sense. We have to remember we do have a bit of a bias here because we clearly can see he's a better technical footballer than Fred or McTominay. But the reality is he's unproven in the Premier League. So 15 million.
Look at the reality. Look at the reality of what we did with Amad Diallo the other year. And now he's gone on loan to Sunderland. And that was potentially around 40 million, all up in regards to a package. And I'm just thinking, we value someone who hasn't done it. We value someone who's done a few stepovers at training in the Serie A. We value him at 40 million. And someone who's gone and proven himself in the Championship and done and driven his team to promotion, we say, yeah, you're around 15 million.
Mate, I agree with you. And Ahmad will not make it at Manchester United. I'll tell you that for free. He won't.
Well, so look, I've got nothing against him. I think he's got fantastic ability. He seems like a hard worker. I like him, but he's gone to Rangers, hasn't worked. He's now going to Sunderland. Like players at the top of the players who reach the top of the game don't do that.
Yeah, no.
So it is interesting. If there is anything else in the live chat, please do let us know before we do wrap up. Is there anything else you do want to discuss? But Larry, in terms of anything else to get off your chest or Manchester United related news I've missed?
You've upset me, mate. I'm ready to go to bed and cry about James Garner.
Well, George have another name. Throw this in there. He was one. He came back. Did he score on Eric Ten Hag's first preseason game from memory? You thought, oh, hang on, he's a chance. And then I don't think you got to run again. So there are players like that, and I think that you're right. You talk about this bias, and they may be a little bit sort of sentimental in regards to some of the topics. I fully understand that with James Garner. If it was a player who we bought for $2 million, it's not quite work. Okay, I definitely look at that. But in regards to what we have done over the last couple of years. Palestra and Ahmad, they were deadline day signings from memory under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We didn't get Jadon Sancho, and did they came in from memory? If I'm correct.
Yeah, no, that is right. They were signed on transfer window deadline. That was during the lockdown times, wasn't it? That was a fun time. Yeah, you're right.
What do you think of this one here, Tom? Saying Larry saying a player is unproven in the Premier League makes no sense. Most players were bought. So why is Garner an exception? I think in regards to my interpretation of what Larry was meaning, in regards to the fee, in regards to the way clubs sort of, it's not like a money ball system, but you do look how, remember Liverpool had that money ball approach of his and what does justify a club's sort of spending big money on it. Manchester United buying Jadon Sancho, we're not buying Jadon Sancho just the football, okay? 50 million for the footballer, 20 million for the marketing, 10 million for future potential. There's all these different things, and I think that Premier League, you just look at the Premier League tax around the league, what players do go for if they are a Premier League player or not. I think wrongfully so, but I think that is a way a lot of clubs do value players.
I think the Championship translates into the Premier League better than the Eredivisie translates to the Premier League. So Tom makes a very valid argument. I'm not saying that I agree with it, but the reality is that this is how agents, managers, boards, negotiators, this is how they view the transfer market. The Premier, at the end of the day, the Championship, rightly or wrongly, is viewed as second tier. Eredivisie is viewed as first tier. In terms of competitiveness and physicality, of course the Championship's more comparable, but no one views it that way. So that's just the way it is.
I think Tom's right. In regards to the term we use, Premier League proven, we use it as players, and I always say, yep, is Premier League proven? And then I say, well, this guy wasn't, and he succeeded. So it is something that I think is just sort of tattooed in our brain. Just sort of rolls off the tongue, and he's worth discussing at times, but then also at times sort of not worth discussing. George here is Dan James. Even it does look like potentially Tottenham are interested. Whether that eventuates, I'm not too sure. Yeah,
wow.
You'd see him as like a right wing back into Antonio Conte. I'm not sure. Again, that was just a rumor on Twitter. I'm not sure. But just my last topic here, last point I wanted to bring it back to Ronaldo, like every Manchester United discussion does. Sort of finish these days. Legendary Apex. Good to see you, mate. Eric Ten Hag didn't take any sulking or complaining of Ronaldo or Harry Potter, Harry Maguire, and took a hard decision to bench them both and showed at other players there is no room for ego in his team. Manchester United are full of leaks at the moment. We saw the leaks, the CCTV footage of Anthony, for God's sake, in regards to walking through Carrington, how that got out. That's where I look at leaks and we all sort of label the players. Okay, this player's behind the leaks. There's hundreds of staff at Carrington. There's cleaners, there's groundsmen, there's admin staff. A lot of leaks potentially come from people like that, very sort of untraceable. So, but in regards to Cristiano Ronaldo, 1 or 2 leaks are coming out now, and it'll be very interesting. His tell-all interview in a week's time, or when he tells the truth, or is it a convenient truth? It will be interesting.
Isn't this the 2-week mark? Isn't this?
I think it was. I think he was talking about after the window. So I think it will be a convenient truth. Whatever club he's at, he can sort of suit that narrative. But that'll be that's debate for another day. In regards to Ronaldo, the leak at the moment from the Athletic is, and obviously Ronaldo's not leaking this because obviously we do know sort of the relationship Ronaldo does have with 1 or 2 of these English outlets. But it does look like. It doesn't even look like this has never been an issue for me, but there has been a narrative saying Ronaldo is kicking around training cones, he's kicking the balls over the fence every training duel, mucking up for Eric Ten Hag, which obviously couldn't be further from the truth, but that has been the narrative that Ronaldo's sulking and sort of making things a nuisance around the dressing room. But the leak today has been that he has been training very well and is sort of, I don't know what the word is, sort of confined to say, okay, I want to stay at Manchester United. I might as well. Here I say might as well, but here he is. So okay, I'll get down to work and sort of try and do what I can do. Okay, it is the Europa League. I'll add that to my bucket list, sort of thing. So, just your thoughts. Ronaldo doesn't get this move in 24 hours' time. His attitude, good or bad?
He'll be great. He is the ultimate professional. You do not play at the top level of the game the way he has for the period of time that he has if you're not the ultimate professional. He knew what he wanted. He's not going to get what he wanted, but he's going to put his head down now and be the ultimate professional. 100% he will. He's not a brat. Like, I think people get too caught up in what they see on the pitch. Yeah, he's a bit petulant. He's been petulant since he was 18 years old, diving for Man United on the wing. Do you remember when Ronaldo first signed for United, what some fans used to say about him?
Yeah. No, it wasn't about what we were saying. It was true in terms of what we're saying on the pitch.
He's a diver. He'll never make it at United. I remember all of that.
I think where I look, and I've had many discussions around Ronaldo, and I don't know Ronaldo, but we talk about his personality, we talk about his mentality, and a lot of people who do say, oh, he's flashy and he doesn't care and he just walks around and he doesn't care about his team and he's only about himself. I think I always look at people around him and what do they view of him. We do look at sort of Roy Keane and Paul Scholes and Sir Alex Ferguson, how they view maybe former players they didn't get on well with. You look at Roy Keane and Ronaldo, especially when they were at Manchester United together, two completely different personalities. And if you thought Roy Keane would have liked Ronaldo, you thought, no, hang on, I don't quite think that. Sort of an old Irishman liking this sort of flashy young Portuguese kid, you think there could have been some tension there. Who was the one player Roy Keane had the most respect for in that dressing room? It was Ronaldo because of his attitude. I'm just thinking, well, I don't know Ronaldo. Maybe because Roy Keane's my favourite player of all time, I'm going to place a little bit more trust in his words. But he speaks about Ronaldo's mentality as never been a problem around Manchester United at the moment. I'm inclined to believe Roy Keane. Now, I might be wrong. Cristiano Ronaldo might be sort of drawing sort of scribbles on Eric Ten Hag's whiteboard ahead of training. I'm not sure, but I'll believe Roy Keane for now. But anything else before our opinion change and Ronaldo's playing for Napoli in 24 hours?
No, I think Ronaldo will stay, mate. I think that's the smart money now, just given the length of time left. And I think he'll have a good season. Let me dare paint this picture, Tom. If United manage to finish in the Champions League spots, there might be a very good case for him to even stay on an additional season.
We'll cross that hurdle in a year's time. Well, we'll get in the top half of the table first. He's only going to
be a year older, and if these top sides aren't interested in signing him now, he's got that extra year contract to earn the sort of coin he's on now. This is his last big contract. So let's not get that wrong. You know what I mean? So it's his last chance to do that. I think there's a very realistic... If he left this season, it was always going to be on loan. So I think that it was always going to be on loan. And
look, I can't disagree, but I don't know because it's such a unique situation. He is his own player. He's his own business. It's his own transfer. George Mendes sort of runs his transfer window.
Alex here saying, please no, Larry. Mate, I bet you were dying with happiness. I bet you were flopping your balls in the air when you heard he signed last season.
Today, one year to the day, Larry.
Tom, we were dying for Ronaldo to come back. Now he scored 24 goals last season, 18 in the Premier League, the second highest goal scorer in the Premier League. And let's not forget how shit we were, and he managed to get 18 goals out. Yeah, he's carried on a little bit.
What do you think of the story from The Athletic that he went to Ralph Rangnick and said Harry Maguire should be dropped? Now, how reliable is that? Is it?
That's great. I said that too. Ronaldo's just saying what every single United fan thought too. Is he wrong?
Yeah, I don't. No, of course. Look, I think what sort of frustrates us with Ronaldo is he shares a lot of our frustrations, and we sort of don't like to see it. Sort of, we all sit here from behind a screen or on our couch at 3 a.m. saying, "Sub this player, get this player off, sell this player." Ronaldo's just doing it visibly. We can see him doing it, and we don't like that. But just a comment here before we wrap up. Good to see you, Adrian. Finally, a Perth-friendly stream. Hope you had a good night the other night watching Southampton out at the pub. But look, the Ronaldo situation, while it is such topical and we sort of do get rolled up, it does get boring at times, even though there are always sort of different avenues to pursue. But I'm sure we'll be having another Ronaldo discussion when the window shuts.
On the Ralph Rangnick Ronaldo story, I won't say the journalist's name because, it's not my place to do that. But I did meet a well-renowned journalist when we were in Melbourne, and he told us a really funny story about Rangnick and Ronaldo, so I might as well share it here. So he was saying that in January, he was having some issues with Ronaldo. Ralph Rangnick was having some issues with Ronaldo. And apparently, Ralph Rangnick went to John Murtaugh and said, you need to get Ronaldo out of the club before the transfer window closes. Apparently, John Murtaugh got to the point where he was ignoring Ralph Rangnick's calls because he just thought he was nuts for trying to get rid of him.
A lot of people around the club seem to suggest that, and look, I agree with a lot of Ralph, and I wouldn't disagree. Like, yes, I wanted Ronaldo to stay. From Ralph Rangnick's point of view, I could very well see where he's coming from in regards to getting rid of Ronaldo. I don't agree with it, but I respect the manager and his view. But in regards to the way Ralph Rangnick went about his business, both behind the scenes and publicly in press conferences, yes, a lot of the higher-ups at Manchester United are thinking, who the hell is this guy? Now, as I said, I think I agreed with a lot of Ralph Rangnick and liked how he sort of behaved and his views towards Manchester United. But in regards to the people above him, that's why he doesn't have a job at the moment, because they didn't like what he was doing.
Well, I think you could also argue he had a problem or two with coaching. I think Ten Hag's getting a better tune out of
potentially, but I look at the plays in regards to that. No, I agree. He's maybe not a coach of Eric Ten Hag or Jose Mourinho, yes, but I blame the players more so. It's not a Ralph Rangnick debate, but his name did pop up in discussion on Twitter in the last couple of hours. But we'll just wrap up now, because in 10 minutes Eric Ten Hag will be talking, and he'll be probably confirmed Ronaldo's leaving, Martial's not fit, Harry Maguire's not going to play. All these things are done now, starting 11. So do stay tuned if anything does break. But Larry, it has been a pleasure as always.
Yeah, pleasure to you, mate. Pleasure to all the patrons in the comment. Make sure you hit a big like on the video. End of the transfer window. Let me ask you this, Tom. One last question before we sign off. Any surprises? Do you think United will get another right back in, or do you think we've done our business?
The surprise would probably be Ronaldo leaving. Maybe there is a twist there. In regards to right back, if Aaron Wan-Bissaka was to throw toys out of the pram and force a move to West Ham, potentially you could bring someone in on loan. Obviously, the Dubravka deal is likely to happen. A lot of people, I don't know where this has come from, are clinging to the Frankie de Jong story. I'm not sure where that has come from.
That's fake. Someone made an impersonated account of David Ornstein and put exclusive Ronaldo, and he put David Ornstein _05 or something.
To be fair, I think 90% of rumors start like that. I think a lot of rumors do start like that. But who knows? I think Frankie de Jong is potentially off somewhere. And now money would say he'll stay at Barcelona. Would I be shocked if he ends up at Chelsea? Well, then here we are, Manchester United's troubles. Look at the situation Chelsea find themselves in, my God.
Look, all I know is if Harry Maguire has copped all the flack he has for the last 12 months, Lisandro Martinez got written off because he got beaten a one-header. I want to see an exclusive sit-down with Thomas Tuchel, and I want him to explain the signing of Koulibaly. 31 years of age, ridiculous transfer fee. He's in a shambles. He's a horrible signing. I want to see him integrated. I want to see him interrogated the way that Eric Ten Hag was. It won't happen because no one gives a shit about Chelsea. But you take my point.
No, definitely. Look, who knows what discussion we'll be having, one post-Leicester in regards to the result, but obviously as well post-Leicester in regards to the transfer window and what our squad and club does look like. And obviously other clubs, depending on how they go, in regards to the transfer window, will impact Manchester United season. That is sort of the facts of the matter. So it will be interesting. Then we do have Arsenal to look forward to. So make sure you do join us on Friday, maybe even after the match. I'm not sure. We'll see what time the deadline does close. We might go live if the United do look like they're doing some last-minute business. If not, we'll be back Friday night for a bit of a Friday night pint and hope to review on a Leicester win. And then probably the next day or two, we'll be doing an Arsenal preview. So plenty to come on the podcast. Make sure you do hit that subscribe button if you're new. And leave a like on the video on your way out. And we'll chat Larry and chat to everyone in the live chat in a bit. Until then, have a good one.
Cheers.